You gain control of JK Rowling's Twitter account for a day. What unnecessary piece of information do you add to Harry Potter lore? Buckbeak is an animagus who is fully intelligent and capable of turning back into a human at any time, but doesn't because it's his fetish. Make the fan theory that the surviving real-life twin becomes the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka later in life. Harry wakes up in Hogwarts and everyone is gone for Christmas vacation, when he has to defend the school from being robbed by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. The composition of the wand means nothing. A wizard could use a plastic drinking straw, and it would work just fine, as long as they expect it to work. Snape was a stamp collector. This is the real reason James Potter bullied him. The sorting hat was %100 unnecessary for class distribution. Its primary purpose was to get rid of head lice. Ron likes to take all his clothes off when he poops. When you're using the invisible cloak, you're not actually invisible, you're naked. They just choose to ignore you as to not make things awkward. Harry put his name in the Goblet of Fire. Voldemort's penises also have snake-slit noses. The reason Dumbledore didn't bring back Harry's parents with the time turner is because Dumbledore always wanted a son of his own, but then changed his mind a few years later and dumped him at the Dursleys. Fred and George Weasley switched places during the Battle of Hogwarts. When George died, Fred adopted George's life, complete with cutting off his ear, because he figured George wouldn't want him to spoil the joke. At the time of bringing his kids to platform 9 3/4 at the end of the 7th book, Harry is out on bail for wizard tax evasion due to hiring Percy as his accountant. That the cauldron Voldemort was rebirthed and during Goblet of Fire used to belong to Horace Sloane. It was gifted to his favorite student Tom Riddle the year Riddle left Hogwarts. Underneath the robe, Professor McGonagall is actually two twin dwarfs standing on each other's shoulders. They take turns being on top so the other doesn't get tired. In order to have the feast so lovingly described, house elves of Hogwarts had perfected the art of reusing leftovers multiple times. They secretly go to cheap restaurants and learn from muggles. Recently they discovered internet and now Dean Thomas's mother prints out for them every tip and trick she can find at Frugal Living blogs. Muggle orphanages know about magic, and when an orphan shows magical prowess they phone the Ministry of Magic for pickup and leave the baby outside. The ministry hasn't figured out how voicemail works, and never come to pick up the children. Voldemort's parents were anti-vaxxers. The sock that freed Dobby was actually a Potter family heirloom, having been worn by Bobby Charlton in the 1966 FIFA World Cup final. The Potters were very quiet about how they came to acquire it. Dudley Dursley has a Muggle-born daughter. She gets her Hogwarts letter and Dudley reconnects with Harry so he can learn about magic and be the opposite of his parents. Queen of England is a living horcrux and that's why she just won't die. The goblins and Gringotts don't have children, they just randomly split one day during a mitosis-like process, and then go about their days. Their suits are part of this process. Voldemort was voluntarily circumcised at the age of 80. Nobody gives a fuck about Harry after he graduates, and he ends up spending the rest of his life bitter and working as a barista at Wizard Starbucks in Hogsmeade. The Forbidden Forest is forbidden because Dumbledore and Hagrid have an illegal grow OP hidden inside the wizarding school is a front to launder money. In the late 90s, an American wizard decided to invent padded grips that a witch or wizard could slip onto their wand for personal preference and a better handle on casting their spells. The product was called the Woody and Arthur Weir Eye. With his extensive interest in muggle items and lingo, was the only one who seemed to find it hilarious. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more stuff like this.